Good afternoon, everyone. Today we're going to have begin our discussion of machine learning, one of the most hot topics in finance. Okay, you may be able to make use of this in your research paper. There are many theses. There are many researches now being conducted making use of machine learning algorithms. So I hope that the few sessions, the 3 sessions that we will be having, uh, because uh, we um, today Friday 3 and holiday on Tuesday. I might include a recording of the last topic if we're not able to complete it. So machine learning class. Hopefully in this sessions that we'll have, you'll have a taste of what of the importance and the power of machine learning. Machine learning as applied in finance have so many uses. Okay, but before we go to the uses, I hope that by the end of this module you'll be able to implement a machine learning modules. Okay, machine learning algorithms, and then you'll learn how to train a data set and test it, and using depending on the type of problem, whether it's a classification or regression problem, you should be able to evaluate multiple machine learning models and then measure the performance of that model. Okay, so machine learning can be used to make predictions. Okay, in some cases, it's used to detect fraudulent activities. We learned about portfolio optimization. We learned about creating the efficient frontier. You can also use machine learning for that. I deliberately did not include that as part of the discussion because that might confuse you because those are two different topics. But now they have merged using machine learning in optimizing portfolio, and it can be used to automate trading. Okay, there are 5 modules. There are 5 algorithms that we're going to use for machine learning. These are the 5 most common ones. There are others. You have decision trees, random forest, support vector machines, XGBoost, which is extreme gradient boosting, and artificial neural networks. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to make use of one data set and then expose it to the different methods, modules, or algorithms, and then compare which of the 5 algorithms perform best in predicting our data. Now, at the end of the course, at the end of the module, we cannot, of course, over conclude that this particular algorithm is best for all types of data. Take note that it's only for this specific type, are only the particular data that we're going to consider. So we're going to make use of, a very famous data set, Apple, okay, because it's available in Yahoo Finance, and we can make use of quant mode to model it. And then we will do some pre-processing, okay? We'll do the pre-processing next week. So what's pre-processing? Oftentimes when you get data from the internet, there would be missing values. Okay. Now we have learned that if there are missing values, your model will not run. There will be a problem with the missing values. So before you even create the model, we should know how to clean the data. We should know how to pre-process the data. And after that, we create features. Features are other variables that can be used in modeling your data set. And these variables are are computed from the data itself. So we call it feature engineering. Okay? Feature engineering is developing or creating variables that can be used for your models. Okay? And then we split our data into training data set and testing data set. Now this is very important because, okay, so let me illustrate that. Suppose you have this data, and then what will happen if you Okay, if you use all your data in order to create your model. Okay, let's say you have 2,000 observations. Okay, in machine learning, you do not use all your data to create your model. Okay, what you do is you partition your data or you split the data. Okay, so it depends on the type of data that you have. Okay, if it's let's say if it's cross-sectional data, suppose your data is cross-sectional and let's say there are 100 observations and you say that you're looking at several countries. Okay, let's say you have 100 countries and your data is arranged alphabetically. Okay, so it doesn't make sense, class. It doesn't make sense to uh, arrange your data, let's say from 1 to 80. So let's say that your training data set will be 80 observations, and this one will be 81 to 100. Since you have 100 observations, 100, okay? So this is what you call your training data set. Your trained data set is what you use in order to create your model, whether it's a regression model or whatever model. And then what you do is you use that model that you generated from your trained data set in order to run your test data set and try to see if your model will run in this data set that it has not seen. Okay, it has only seen this one up to 80. It created the model based on these 80 observations. Now what we're going to do is we now use that model, whatever that model is, and see if we use the test data set, will the accuracy, okay, will the errors be less or will the errors be more? So that's how we assess, class. We assess. Now, there's a difference between cross-sectional data and time series data. Okay, as I was saying here, suppose this was arranged by continents. So you say Africa, and then Asia, etc. Okay, now it would be unwise to just split this ordinarily. So you have Africa, say how many countries in Africa, then Asia. So you'll get, for example, the first 80 observations. Okay, that's a very bad way to process your splitting of the data. Why? Because your trained data set will consist of countries that are similarly placed. So you have all Africa, and then you have all Asia, etc. And here, most probably, this will be South America, for example. Okay, South America, so all the South American countries will be here. And so these are countries that behave similarly in certain regards. Okay, so you don't split your data that way. What you have to do is to randomly jumble this first, okay, rearrange this so that there will be no logical arrangement, not by continents, for example. So, for example, you may arrange it alphabetically first and then rearrange it in such a way that it will no longer be alphabetical. Okay, so you assign random number generator so that your trained data set will be randomly selected. Okay, so that's the operative word. When you split your data into training data set and testing data set, your data should have been done randomly. Okay? So dapat hindi siya alphabetical, etc. Okay? Now, so that's for cross-sectional data. When you have your time series data, now that's different because the time series has a temporal arrangement to the data. Diba? So kunyari, your data is from January 1, 2015. So yung January 1, January 2, let's say hanggang 2024, we cannot randomly rearrange that. Okay? Hindi pa pwedeng mauna yung December 1, 2023 and then followed by January 1, 2016. It will destroy the temporal arrangement of your data. Okay, so for time series, split your data differently. So pwedeng, kunyari, pwedeng ito, kunyari from 2015 up to, let's say 1919. And then you can classify this as pre-COVID. Okay, and then for this one, it will be, let's say, from 2020, let's say 2020 to 2022. So this is now your COVID period. Okay, that way you're not destroying the temporal arrangement of your data. Okay, do not do that. So there's a difference in how we treat time series data as far as splitting your data and also your training data. All right. Now, as I said, we don't use everything here, okay, because we will be guilty of what we call overfitting. Okay, overfitting. Okay, there's such a thing as overfit, or there's also this opposite of underfit. What we strive to do is a model that's balanced. Yun ang gusto natin, no? Not overfit, not underfit, but balanced. Ano yung overfitting? If you, for example, choose all this data, and then you created the model, and then later on may bagong data tayong dadating. So the problem with overfitting by choosing all this data is that yung model na develop natin, okay, will be biased for all that's inside here. Okay, so that when a new data comes in, this might not be modeled, this might not be predicted properly. Okay, let me show you an example, an illustration of this. Okay, dito maraming illustration class. Okay, so dito, okay, sa MathWorks, no? This is a good illustration, okay? Let me just Control C. I-share ko na lang to sa chat yung site na to. There are... Okay, saan na yung chat ko? Okay. So, machine learning would oftentimes be either classification or regression. Anong difference ang classification or regression? Classification is when you're trying to model a categorical variables. For example, okay, ito yung data natin, and let's say yung dependent variable natin is either, let's say, yes or no, or fraud or not fraud. Okay, so you'd like to predict based on certain details, certain features, is this type of transaction a fraud or not a fraud? So you're trying to classify, no? Parang inaan natin kung factor siya, no? So fraud ba to o hindi ba to fraud? Or is this data, okay? Is this observation, is this individual, for example, prone to heart disease or not? Does this individual have cancer or not? Okay, things like that are called classification problems. Okay, so that's why there's this term, yung term na ginagamit usually is CART. CART. So when we use, which will start today, regression trees or decision trees, we have classification and regression. Okay, CART, no? Pag regression class, yung dependent variable natin are quantitative. Ito categorical for classification kasi. Now, either or, okay, this is an example of overfitting kasi ginamit natin lahat ng data natin and you come up with a model that specifically may be fit for this type of data. The right fit would have been just a portion of this data and then is-split natin yung data na to into training and testing, okay? And then mag-create tayo ng model na ganito. And then yung model na to we're going to use in order to see if this will work dun sa testing dataset natin. Okay, ang underfitting naman medyo kulang naman, no? So ito overfit to, no? Kasi talaga ang nangyari sa model talagang specifically for those data points. Okay? More generic balance should have been this one. Ito naman underfitting. Okay? So take note in machine learning, when you have the data, you'll have to split it into sometimes 3, no? Sometimes merong training, testing, and validation. Sometimes generally it's 2. Okay, 2 data sets, training and testing. All right, so going back to our asan na yung R ko? Ayan. All right. So these are the 5 algorithms that we're going to use. Decision tree, random forest. Okay, itong dalawa related. Okay, decision trees are related to random forest. Ito isang tree lang, ito several trees. So ang random forest parang decision trees in steroids, no? Kasi napakadaming trees ang gagawin. Decision tree, isang tree lang yan. Then we have support vector machine, XGBoost, and ANN, artificial neural networks. So we're going to make use of Apple stock data. We're going to pre-process it, create features, okay? And then we're going to split our data, doing training and testing. And then what we're going to do is to predict stock prices. Okay? So oftentimes, pag regression, either predict stock prices or predict stock returns. In this exercise, we're going to predict stock prices. And then we will assess the model kung okay siya, making use of Ramsey. You're familiar with Ramsey, no? Root mean square error, mean absolute error, mean absolute percentage error. Accuracy, depende to. Accuracy will be used kung classification. Okay? So Ramsey, MAE, MAPE, I think class hindi naka-include sa inyo to, no? Dinagdag ko lang to kanina, pakidagdag na lang please. And R squared. Okay? And then after we have measured all of this for all the 5 algorithms, then we select what is the best performing model. Okay? All right. So we're going to use machine learning, of course, in the context of finance. Kasi marami application of machine learning. It can be used for predicting prices, not necessarily stock prices, business prices, sales kunyari. It can be used for many. Okay? Maraming pa pwedeng paggamitan ng in several fields. Ginagamit din yan sa social sciences. No? Okay, so machine learning is just a subset of the whole scope of artificial intelligence. Okay, and it helps us generate or provides us with tools in order to see hidden insights. We have a large data set. We can train our model in such a way that it will be able to generate insights. Okay, so that's what we're going to do in this module. Now, iba't ibang types ng machine learning. Meron tayong supervised, meron tayong unsupervised, meron tayong reinforcement. Okay? We're going to make use of the supervised learning. So supervised, yung mga variables natin, labeled siya. We know what they are. Okay? And we know what we would like to determine. Kunyari, in our case, gagamitin natin sa Apple prices. Alam natin Apple prices, open, high, low, close, volume, adjusted. And then we're going to use this. We're going to predict, kunyari, yung closing prices ni Apple. Okay? The task is to generalize, okay, from the training so that when new data comes in, it can create accurate predictions on unseen data. Kaya nga what we do is we use the training data set and then gagamitin natin siya dun sa unseen. Yung sa testing data set na hindi ginamit dun sa model. Okay, unseen data set siya. Unsupervised has something to do with the nature of your data. Hindi labeled yung outcomes, no? Kunyari, cluster analysis. Ano yung cluster analysis? You have your data and then i-group yung data natin. So popular to kunyari sa marketing. You have several several respondents, several observations. And then, pwede tayong gumamit ng unsupervised learning para i-classify yung mga groups. So, we can create what we call cluster analysis. Tapos yung mga group na yan, pwedeng i-determine ano itong mga group na to. So, siguro, ito yung mga millennials, okay? Itong mga grupo na to, ito yung mga, let's say, mga this type of people. Or ito yung mga group na to, ang characteristics nila, ito yung mga characteristics nila. So, what's the purpose for that? The purpose is, as far as marketing is concerned, now you can have targeted promotions. So, ito yung mga attributes itong group na to, itong millennials. So, we cannot make use of promotions that will fit the baby boomers or Gen Z. Okay? Kailangan targeted yung marketing natin. So, yung ano natin, yung promotions, yung marketing strategies natin for this specific cluster, for this specific group, should be different from other groups. Okay, so that's what we call an example of that is your cluster analysis for unsupervised learning. Okay, we're only going to tackle supervised learning. No? Reinforcement learning, ito yung medyo mahirap, no? Kasi kunyari sa algorithmic trading, gagamitin tong model na to para ma-determine kung kailan bibili at saka kung kailan magbebenta ng asset. So this will require much computing power. No? More complex siya. Kasi kunyari per minute basis. Paano ma-model na on a per minute nagbabago yung price? Okay, that can be very difficult and that can require huge amount of data which will require malaking mga computing power ng machine, no? Okay, so in this course, in this module, we'll just focus on supervised learning. Okay, as I said, pag supervised learning, one type of modeling can be stock price or stock returns. Okay, so sa finance, pwedeng it can be what we call as classification. Okay, pwedeng classification or it can be regression. So kunyari, sa classification, we can take a look at returns, no? So returns, pwede natin i-predict aakyat ba yung returns or bababa yung returns. Okay. So either up, down, or pwedeng maintain. Yan, diba? So tatlong factors. So pag ganyan, you're trying to classify, will the stock returns increase the next day, or will it will remain the same, or it will go down? So this is a type of classification. Yung regression naman, of course, we're using quantitative variables. Ito qualitative, no? Categorical. Okay? So ito quantitative. So you're predicting the price itself, yung price. Okay? So this is a type of regression. If we were talking about decision trees, so ito classification tree, ito regression tree naman. That's why I said you have the term CART, no? Classification and regression trees for decision trees. Okay. So the goal is to make use of ML model para ma-predict natin yung price ng stock on the next day. Okay, based on certain features. So yung features, i-compute natin to class. And we're going to split our data. Split natin data natin. So we have our training data set and we have our testing data set. And we're going to use our model na na-generate natin sa training para makita natin kung if we use it to a new data. No? Kasi technically, yung testing data set is new data. Why is that so? Because that was not used to train your model. Diba? Nag-split tayo. Tapos yung training data set lang ang ginamit natin para ma-generate yung model. Yung testing data set will now be used in order to assess if your training data set also performs good, even if it's used on new data. Okay? Any questions so far as the concept of different, of course, yung specifics ng decision trees, random forest, SVM, XGBoost, extreme gradient boosting, and then your artificial neural network. It will, ang my suggestion, class, is because of in the interest of time, medyo magbasa na kayo about that, no? Read up on these methods, decision trees, for your personal use, okay? And who knows, in the future, gagamitin nyo itong methodology na to, whether in your thesis or later on sa field of work nyo, kasi ginagamit na yan, eh, no? And it would be good for you to be knowledgeable about these things. Okay. Clear ko lang. By the way, I forgot to ask, please in the chat box, may I know if you have any other subject in MFI where you learned modeling using machine learning? I'm just curious kung na-discuss na to sa ibang subjects nyo. Yes or no, please? Okay, no. No. Okay, good. Thank you. Because, yeah, that's a good thing, because this is an opportunity for us to learn. Okay? So, I think, patapos na kayo sa, wala na kayong magiging ibang subject na na-discuss to. And we're happy that kahit papano, kahit dun sa latter parts of Finlits, na-discuss natin to. Okay, of course, we cannot possibly discuss everything, but I hope we're able to plant the seed of interest in you. Okay? Sana gamitin nyo tong opportunity na to para pag-aralan to more, no? And do a deep dive later on. All right. So, where were we? Okay. So, we're going to use financial data, time series data. Okay. In particular, gagamitin natin si Apple. It could have been other prices. Okay. Pero we'll just use Apple. And then, remember, class, as I said a while ago, yung temporal characteristic or order ni time series. Hindi natin siya pwedeng i-randomly rearrange, split data. Okay? So, temporal, ibig sabihin, the price today at time t can influence the price tomorrow at time t plus 1. So, hindi siya pwedeng i-rearrange in such a way that mauuna si January 3, 2021, tapos susunod si 2015, etc. Yung random. Pag cross-sectional data, ganun talaga mangyayari, no? Kasi wala naman temporal order. Okay? All right. And the challenges of time series data is that it displays some characteristics which might make machine learning a challenge. Number one, autocorrelation. And we know that this is very true because we know that the prices today may have an impact on tomorrow's price. You also have stationarity, and we discussed this. Okay? And in machine learning kasi it will require that we have stationary data. No? So constant mean, constant variance. And then yung data split, as I said, hindi pwedeng random split. Okay, kailangan yung split natin, ma-preserve pa rin yung temporal order ng dataset natin. Okay, so we're going to use Apple, and you already know this, that we can get open, high, low, close, and even adjusted price. Okay, tapos, we know already because we have experienced it that wala namang usually wala namang problem dun sa prices ng mga stocks coming from Yahoo Finance. Okay, but next meeting, I'll be using an example. Okay, isang data lang. I'll just get a sample data from my advices in the past, no? Advices in the past na yung data nila problematic kasi nakuha nila from a source, tapos ang daming mga missing values. So what to do? Okay, ilang thousands yun. Alam nga naman sa Excel, kukunin natin isa-isa tapos ano. Sa R, napakadali niyan, no? There's such a thing as LOCF, last object carried forward. And sa totoo lang, they were amazed, no? Kasi ilang missing values yun. Hundreds. Tapos they were trying to manually use Excel Tapos sinabi ko sa kanila, ito yung power ng R. Pinakita ko, isang code lang. Tapos, ang linis kagad, no? So they were able to save on hours and hours and hours. Kasi, paano kung may na-miss out pa sila, no? Kasi kung thousands of data na, mahirap na hanapin kung ano yung NAs doon. Okay, so really the power of what we call, well, it's part of structured query language kasi using dplyr, no? Because you're cleaning your data. All right, so after pre-processing your data, okay, part of pre-processing, aside from cleaning, is that we add features, okay, creating of additional features. As I mentioned a while ago, this is what we call a feature engineering. Feature engineering, where we compute for additional information based on the data so that we can use this in modeling our data. Okay, if you were my students in FinArts, yesterday we had a discussion of this also. So gagamitin din natin yan dito sa sa feature engineering sa machine learning. Okay? So one example is moving average, whether it's simple moving average or exponential moving average. Another example of a feature is RSI, relative strength index. May I know, class, if in your other subjects you talked about feature engineering, or at least siguro narinig yung RSI, siguro naman narinig nyo, no? And maybe you learned how to compute that. Did you learn how to compute that? And was it manual or was it through, I don't know, maybe through a software or through a link sa internet na nagpo-provide ng ganong feature? Feedback please, class, comment. Okay, no for Cassie. How about for others? No din. Okay, sige. Good, class. Good because opportunity to learn ulit to. So, even if dadalawan na lang talaga yung linggo natin, class, I hope this makes a dent, this makes an impression in you, okay, that there are such things as indicators. These indicators are used in trading. As I said, an example is moving average, relative strength index, MACD, class. This is moving average, convergence, divergence. Okay. You have Bollinger Bands, stochastic oscillator, EMA, okay, dami, ROC, etc. Okay. So this can be found, tingnan natin, class. Ito, packages. Tingnan nyo, class, yung technical trading rules. Click natin to. And you can see here several indicators. Yan. Yan, class. These are all examples of a commodity channel index, Bollinger Bands. You have EMA, SMA. Okay, ang dami, no? Money flow index, average true, average ATR, average true range. Okay? All right, so these indicators can be easily accessed using technical trading rules. Eh, buti lang talaga may R kasi ang hirap kaya mag-solve ng ng kahit yung simple moving average. Matagal yun, no? With the presence of tools like this, it makes really computing very easy. Okay? So, I don't expect to have missing values kay Apple. Well documented at saka complete naman yung data coming from Yahoo Finance. But next meeting, I'll give an example, a simple example of how to handle missing values. And you'll be amazed at how R can really has the power to really do imputation for missing values. And then we have feature engineering, which means to create additional features. And then sometimes you might need to scale the data. There are some algorithms like SVM, support vector machine, and artificial neural network na kailangan i-convert natin yung data into normalized data or standardized data, which means that they should be between 0 and 1. Okay? So gagamitin natin dito yun kasi yung mga prices gagawin natin between 0 and 1. All right, so we're going to make use of this quant mode, DTR, tidyverse maybe paki-include na rin library ko na kasi We have already loaded this in the past, ggplot2. Okay, salin natin si ggplot2, gagamitin natin mamaya. Alright, so let's load this please. Bagay si ggplot2 pala nasa tidyverse na. So hindi na kailangan yan. Okay, and when you're done class, kindly please chat so that I may continue. If you have loaded these packages, can of course use the pacman payload. Thank you. All right. So of course, I know that all of you are aware of the get symbols function. So let's use get symbols from quant mode. We'll download Apple, source is equal to Yahoo, and then let's get from 2015 January 1 up to yung system's date, which is now. No? And then we're going to convert our data into a data frame. We know that Apple will be an XTS object, and then gagamitin natin, we'll create this object data, which is the same as Apple, pero converted nga lang siya into a data frame. And the reasons are, I'll explain later, kasi minsan mas madaling mag-work kung data frame din. No? Okay, I'll run this, and I expect to have here your Apple and your data here. Apple data. Okay, if I let me just close. Okay, Apple. Okay, ito siya. Open, high, low, close, volume adjusted, and data, which is just the same as Apple. Okay. Now take note, diba? Itong Apple XTS, no? Si data, i-run nga natin. Let's get the structure here. Pakikuha nga sa structure ni Apple. So we know that this is an XTS object, extensible time series, but data is a data frame. And data frame. Okay? But you notice that data frame siya, pero yung index niya, yung dates. Okay? Because it's exactly the same as your Apple dataset. Okay, hindi siya yung 1, 2, 3, di ba? Kasi usually pag XTS, if it's a data frame, yung index natin, yung counting number na 1 up to whatever. All right. Any questions so far? I have once again, your feedback, if you're able to follow. Following ba? Feedback, please. If you have any questions? Thank you, James. Eliza, thank you. So let's give a few more seconds to your classmates. Maybe they're running the structure. Okay, good. Good. Okay, thank you so much. All right, let's proceed. So we're going to use the Apple dataset. Okay. All right. And then we're going to compute for where this is now what we call feature engineering. No, nothing to impute class because the data is complete. Okay, of course, we can test whether the data is complete. Okay, so I gave to you the formula for simple moving average. Okay, so it's not running in my R. So I'll show another. Okay, here. Is it this one? It's my SMA. Here, that's you. So this is the notes that I gave to you in LaTeX. So your SMA is simply the sum of your y sub I. Okay. from I is equal to T minus K plus 1. Okay, T minus K plus 1. So T is the how many observations you have. Okay, minus K is your lag. Okay, and then plus 1. So for example, you have, let's say you're using log. Okay, let's see. For Apple, how many? Okay, where's that? Apple, no, here. Apple, how many observations do we have? 2571. Okay, so it's the sum of y sub I from I is equal to T minus K minus 1. Okay, up to T. T is 2571. So you're summing from 2571. K, let's say K is 5. Okay, minus 5 and then minus 1. So that's 2571. Okay, minus 5 minus 1. So this is minus 4. So 2571 minus 4. So what does that mean, class? What does that mean? T minus K minus 1. 2571 minus 5 minus 1. That's minus 2571 minus 6, right? Correct, class? So what's that? What's 2571 minus 6? So that's 25 minus 6. That will be 25, what class? 65, right? Tama ba? Okay. 25 minus 6, that's 2565. And then 2565 daw hanggang 2571. So what does that mean, class? And then may 1 over K tayo dito. 1 over K. Where K is the number of lags. Okay, which is 5. Okay, the way to understand this is to create your MA para makita natin kung ano ibig sabihin yung formula na to. But this is just the average. If you're summing up your Y are your prices in this case, no? Tapos dinidivide lang natin ng K. Ano ibig sabihin ng divide by K? Divided by the lags. Kung 5 yung lags, so ang gagawin natin, kukunin natin first 5. Okay? First 5, you add it, and then divide it by 5. So what you now have is, you now have a value that's obtained by dividing the sum with 5. So ipakita natin to class kasi I think it's easier to understand what's happening to your moving average simple moving average, no? Based on that. Okay. Okay, so here you have class. Okay. So remember you have data, di ba? Yung data object natin, this is a data frame. Data $MA20. Ibig sabihin nun, we are creating a new variable called MA20. And then we're using from TTR yung roll mean. Si roll mean class moving average yan. Okay, rolling average. Ibig sabihin, gumagalaw yung data natin. No? So, ano yung magiging basis? Yung closing price. Okay, ito, no? Si Apple, tapos 20, ano? Ito yung closing price. Tapos 20, ano ibig sabihin ng 20, class? 20, yung moving average. Ibig sabihin, class, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, isa pa. Oops. 20. Yung first 20 niyan, class, yung first 20 observations. Okay? Okay, kasi 20 moving average. What will happen is that add mo siya, then divided by, okay, the sum of your y sub I, y sub t, 20, this one plus this one, divide sum of everything, divide by 20. Okay? Yun ang magiging first value natin sa sa MA20 natin. Okay, MA20. So whatever the sum of this first 20 values are, divide by 20, that would be the first value dito sa MA20. And then ang susunod, punta ka na naman dito sa YT, 2. So dito hanggang 20 kanina, tapos magiging 21 na dito. Okay, so it will be always be 20 observations, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20. You keep on adding that, no? Add, and divide by 20. Keep on dividing it, and that will now be your value for your MA20. So what's the purpose of MA20? What's the purpose of moving average? Moving average is used to smooth your data para medyo maiwasan yung ini-smooth niya, no? Tinatanggal niya yung mga peaks and troughs. Okay, depende dun sa lag. The lower the lag of your MA, the more similar it will be to your original data. Kapag malaki na tong, ano na to, magiging quite smooth na yung data. Ibig sabihin, hindi niya na i-reflect yung mga going up and going down. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so ito yung ano natin, model natin. Nagawa ko na ba? Hindi pa. No? Naran ko na, hindi pa. Okay, so again, we're going to use the rolling mean function. 20 yung lag natin, then fill is equal to NA. No? Huwag siya mag-fill. Ibig sabihin, kung may mga missing value, huwag niya lalagyan. No? Okay, NA lang niya. No? NA. Okay, let's run this. And then, if you take a look at our data, okay, what happened? Sa data natin, ano nangyari? Okay, nagkaroon na ng MA. Yan. MA20. Now, ano to? Saan nagaling to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bakit sa 10? Okay, kunin muna natin class, tingnan natin yung average. Let's get the mean. Di ba makukuha natin head data, dollar, Apple close, okay? Then 20. Diba yan, di ba? We can get the first 20. Ito yung first 20 observations ng Apple close. So we can get the mean of ng head ng, itin ko na nga, arrow up, okay? Lagyan ko na lang ng mean dito, mean. Yan. So I'm asking R to get the average of the first 20 observations ni Apple close. Okay, Control Enter. So could you please tell me, class, what you got? If you get the average of the first 20 observations ni Apple close. Ano nga, class? Shot. Oops, what happened? Kindly chat, please, class. Ano yung value na nakuha nyo? Okay, 27,66038. Okay, did you get that, class? Okay. 27. Okay, good. Good, pare-pareho tayo. So, yeah, thank you. Same lang din. What's so special about the 26.66038? What do you notice, class? May na-notice ba kayo? Ano kaya yung 27 na yan? What do you notice about that 27,66038? Anyone, please? Okay, take a look at your SMA class. Take a look at your SM. Yeah, okay. So, ito yung class, di ba? So, tama. Ito yung average ng first 20 observations. And then, linagay siya sa gitna. Say 1 to 20, di ba? Linagay siya sa pang 1, ano ba to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th, no? It was placed on the 10th. On the 10th. Kasi yung gitna ng ano, no? Actually, ang gitna dapat 10.5. Eh, wala naman 10.5 na ano. Kasi 1 plus 20, that's 21. Ang gitna ng 21 is even number kasi. Kung odd number sana yan, eksaktong gitna, no? But what's important here is that if you take a look at the figures below, okay, may mga NAs ka rin dito, no? May mga NAs ka. Kasi dapat yung rolling mean natin, dapat 20 lagi yan. So pagdating dito class, dun sa dulo, hindi, kung wala nang values dito class, hindi na pa pwedeng isama yung anong yun, yung 19 lang na observations, di ba? Or if you go down further, magiging 18 na lang yung observations na available. Okay, going down further, mababawasan na mababawasan kasi wala na tayong mga Apple close figures dito. Okay? So that's why you have NAs dito sa dulo. All right. So, okay. Then, tingnan natin to class. RSA naman. Okay. Si Relative Strength Index. Si Relative Strength Index, momentum oscillator yan. Okay, it will tell you kung ano yung general trajectory ng stock. So, when you compute for RSI, usually pag it's above 70, pag naging above 70 na yan, ang ibig sabihin nun, overbought yung stocks. Pag overbought yan, ibig sabihin, it's a signal to sell your asset. Okay? And then, linagay ko dito yan for your class, no? Ito. An RSI above 70 suggests the stock is overbought, no? So, sell signal yon. If it's below 30, then the stock is oversold naman. Therefore, buy signal siya. So, yan ang gamit ng RSI sa trading, no? These are what we call indicators used in trading signals. All right. So, si RSI, ang formula lang yan, it's 100 fraction, no? 100 over 1 plus 100 minus 100 over 1 plus RS. Okay? And then si RS will be the average gain. Kinukuha yung averages. Okay? Average gain, okay, divided by average loss. Okay. So let's run RS. RSI. Simple lang, no? Ito lang yung code natin for RSI. RSI lang. Again, this is from TTR, Technical Trading Rules. And then we're again appending it to our data. Okay, data, dollar, RSI 14. Kasi 14 days ang gagamitin natin dito. Usually, ito yung ginagamit ng 14 days. And then Apple close ulit, N is equal to 14. So let's get this. Let's run this. Okay. And then let's see again our data. Kung na-append ba siya dito sa data natin. Here, RSI 14. No? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, pagkatapos ng 14, dun papasok si RSI. All right? So let's plot this. Okay, so I have here some notes about yung MA. MA, generally, ang ginagawa ng MA will be to smooth your data. Okay? So, it's also used to determine kung nagka-trending upwards ba or downwards yung data. Okay, ang tinatanggal niya yung noise, no? Ibig sabihin noise yung erratic behavior ng data. Tapos nagfo-focus siya sa long-term trend. On the other hand, si RSI naman, minimeasure niya yung momentum, no? Kung gaano kalakas yung yung trend. Okay, and it tells us kung overbought ba, okay, or oversold yung natin, yung stock natin. Okay. So, ito, pareho si MA at saka si RSI, it will help identify trend and momentum. Kaya nga gagamitin natin siya, no? Gagamitin natin siya to predict your stock price. Okay? All right. So this is just a GG plot. So tingnan natin to. This will now plot. Tingnan nyo itong aesthetics natin. Ang magiging x-axis natin is the index of your data. So if you take a look at this one, ang data natin, ito yung index nyo. So date yung magiging natin, x-axis sa plot. No? Kasi kinuha natin yung index ng data. Tapos plus, magkakaroon tayo ng line. Okay? Line ng okay, yung closing price. Color is equal to blue. Ito lang yung yung thickness ng line. Tapos plus another geom line, yung MA20 natin. Okay, take note, si Apple close at saka si MA, they do not belong at the same time. Si Apple close nagsimula sa simulang-simula, si MA nagsimula after 10 days. No? Okay, so red siya. Lagyan natin ng label, title is equal to Apple closing price and 20-day moving average. Lagay natin yung sa x-axis date, yung pangalan, yung label. Tapos yung y, price. Tapos lagyan natin ng basic na theme. No? Theme minimal. Okay, so if we run this, okay, control enter, you can now see the plot of your Apple price and your moving average. All right, so let's take a look at this one. Okay, so you can see that here, okay, kasi 2,500 plus yung observations natin, no? 2,571. So, a moving average of 20 will be very small in relation to 2,571. Okay? Kaya tinan nyo pa rin yung behavior ng moving average natin yung pula, no? Although hindi siya kasing di ba? Hindi kasi kasing jagged ng Apple, yung actual price, di ba? Medyo smooth siya, di ba? Medyo smooth siya yung galaw niya. It's not as jagged as of course the original data. Now, kahapon dun sa FinArts lesson namin, we said that you can change the lag. If you increase the lag, then it becomes more smooth. Okay, sige. Let's try to experiment on that. Gawin natin yung lag natin. Gawin natin baguhin natin dito. Si lag natin, ibalik nyo na lang sa original to. Pero gawin natin, let's say, kunyari 360. So parang 1 year, no? Ang gap. Okay? 1 year yung moving average natin, 360. Although dapat mga 252. Gawin natin 252, mga 1 year. Okay, so I'm going to run this. Okay, and then let's plot. Let's see what happens to the plot here. Ito class, yung pina-plot natin si closing at saka hindi ko na binago yung data MA20. Ibabalik ko naman. Take a look at that class. Alright? So sabi ko dun sa FinArts class ko kahapon, when you're doing simple moving average, no? The longer the lag is, the more smooth it becomes. Ayan, tingnan nyo. Kanina 20. Pero yung 20 medyo di ba? Medyo parang sinusundan pa rin niya although na smooth out siya. But if it's longer period, then that's what happens. Okay? So, ina-emphasize lang ng moving average yung general direction. Okay? So, ito, general direction niya pataas. to general direction niya pababa, pataas, etc. Yun ang objective ng moving average. Okay, let me pause for a while and experiment. Tingnan nyo naman kung lakihan nyo. Kunyari, 252 times 2, 504. Parang 2-year, 2-year lag. And you'll see that it's more straight. No? Okay, tingnan yung missing values dito, NA values and NA values dito. Okay, feedback class please, if okay tayo so far. Ang moving average, yung lag natin, the longer you use, the bigger the lag is, the more smooth your data, your forecast will become. Okay, so again please, may I have your feedback kung okay, naintindihan, nag-grasp ba yung 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 concept natin ng moving average. Okay, good, thank you. All right. Okay, thank you so much. All right, let's proceed. Gusto ko umabot dun sa simula ng decision tree na hindi namin naabot kanina sa And I'll control Z ko, ibabalik ko yung kanina, control Z. Asan na yung control Z? Asan na si moving average? Control Z, control Z. Yan. Oops, control Z. Okay, binalik ko na sa 20 Then i-run ko to para bumalik sa 20 yung SMA. Kasi ipa-plot ko pa rin siya, Ayaw Ayaw mag-run. Ganito ko na lang, control enter. Okay, there. Okay, so let's go here. Let's have another plot. This time, pina-plot natin si RSI. Okay, ito class. Let's plot. Okay, where's RSI? Here. Here class. Plot the RSI. So, ang data na ipa-plot natin, from data, RSI, again, yung x-axis natin, si index ng data. Tapos mag-create tayo ng horizontal line, okay, at 70, and horizontal line ulit at 30. So, magpa-plot siya ng 70, 30, Bakit yun, class? Kasi yun ang ginagamit na, na benchmark, 70 overbought, 30 oversold. Okay, so run natin to. Control enter. And then you can see here the RSI plot. Yan. 70, 30. So ano daw, class? Okay. Ano sinabi natin dito? An RSI above 70 means overbought siya. Overbought, signal yan na mag-sell. Okay? An RSI below 30, oversold. Okay, so signal yan to buy. Well, simple lang na simple na supply and demand. Okay, pag overbought, ibig sabihin maraming gustong bumili. So what's the tendency what's the tendency? Ang daming nagdi-demand ng stock na yon, so tumataas yung price. So if you have that stock, then you can decide to sell it kasi the price has reached a high level, On the other hand naman, kung oversold, ang dami nagbebenta. So the market is awash with the supply of this asset. So ibig sabihin nun, pag maraming nagbebenta, prices will tend to go down. So buy signal yun, bili. Kasi mura at that time. Ganun lang siya ka-basic. And this is used, ito yun, So ito yung 70 natin. So in these instances, ito yung overbought, ito yung oversold. 70, 30. That's the use of this RSI, relative strength index for your as an indicator. And then ito, class, pwede natin i-combine to. Kaso ito, class, parang wala namang hindi siya maganda. Well, anyway, pinakita ko lang, superimposing your RSI and your ayaw mag-run. Medyo hindi ko alam problem ng mouse ko. Oops, bakit don't run? Alright, so here you go, class. So, hindi naman siya to scale, Kasi ito 70, 30, hindi naman siya hindi naman siya nag-match dito, di ba? Dapat 70-30 sana yung sa scale din. Okay, 70-30 din. So, there's another way to plot this. Mas maganda yung ito. Okay. This one I shared with you also using si chart series ni Quant Mode. Okay, so we're using ito, well, we already did this. Okay, Apple 20 natin, MA20. Then, pinasok ko sa Apple naman, no? Kaya yung Apple ko, I think, okay, so ilalagay ko si Apple dun sa MA20, tapos si RSI din. Okay, let me see. Run ko siya. Alright, so chart series to, no? And you have here the separation. Ito yung data natin. Ito yung movement ng moving average natin. Ito yung RSI natin. So, compartmentalized, no? Magkaka-iwalay sila. Alright? Okay. Alright, so we'll deal with this next next time. Ito yung NA.LOCF, no? Kasi kailangan may example tayo ng data niya na may mga missing values. So, let's go now to our first model, which is yung decision trees. Okay? Decision trees. Alright, so dito dinidiscuss ko kung paano ini-split yung data. Okay? So, ang splitting ng data natin, we can use, pag malaking data set natin, okay lang na 80-20. 80% for training and 20% for testing. Why? Kasi ilan ba yung ano natin? Ilan ba yung N2571, no? 2571 times, kung 20 na lang, 20%, dali ka siya, dali lang. Okay, sorry about that, class. Okay, 514. Ano yung 514 na to? 514 observations ang pupunta sa testing. Not bad, no? Eh kung ano naman, kung 80%, 0.8, pupunta to sa training, okay, 2,000 observations, that's good. Okay, kaya pag ano kas, pag malaki yung data set natin, you can play around with it, no? 70%, 30%, training, testing, 80-20. Ang problema kapag maliit lang yung data natin. All right, so here I gave an explanation of what decision trees are. Kindly read through this, no? I will not read this with you. Please, pakibasa to. So we're going to make use of the RPart package. So paki-pacman na lang to, class, kung baka hindi nyo pa na-load para mas mabilis. Pacman P load. Okay, so let's load RPart. Okay. Now take a look at this, no? So ito, naran na natin to, di ba? Ito, you may run this para lalagay din natin kay Apple yung MA20 at saka RSI 14. Kasi kanina kay data lang natin linagay ito, no? Okay? So, let's just make sure that Apple also has the MA20 and the RSI. Okay, ito na class, no? I'll separate this. Okay, this is now the splitting of the data. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, oops. Okay, oops. Capital. Split na natin data natin. So we're going to use the random number generator set.seed. Okay, ang tanong. Okay, training size natin. Floor, 0.8 times n row of apple. Ano ibig sabihin nito, class? 80%, okay, times the n row. Ano ibig sabihin ng floor? It will start with the first observation, 1. Kasi from the floor, no? 1 up to 80% ng number of rows ni apple, which is patak na 2056, no? Okay, so i-run natin to. Control Enter. All right, so our train size is 2056. Okay? All right, so how do we split our data? Ang train data set natin will be si Apple, okay, from 1 hanggang train size. Ano yung train size natin? 2056. Diba, class? 2056. So, lahat ng observations, observation number 1 hanggang 2056, pupunta yan kay train dataset. Tapos, ang test dataset natin, again, Apple, and then, si train size natin, which is 2056, plus 1, di ba? Plus 1. So, 2057. From row 2057 hanggang yung n row ni Apple. Okay, which is yung yung lahat, no? Yung 2571. Okay? And then include all the columns. You know how this goes, class, di ba? Lahat na ang pinifilter natin dito, ang sinasubset natin dito yung rows. Okay? So na-split natin yung data natin from 1 up to 2056 and then from 2057 up to 2571. So that's what will happen, class, dun sa ano natin, sa training and testing. So hindi ko pa na na-run, ira-run ko to. Control Enter. Okay, so let's take a look at the training data set. So ano laman yung training data set? Lahat ng lahat ng columns, but this is from January 2 hanggang March 3, 2023. 2056 observations. Si train data set naman, train data set. Okay. Ay, sorry, train pala, no? Si testing pala. Testing data set. Testing data set will be from March. Okay, kasi March 3 si ano eh. So, March 3 si training. Okay. So, si March 3, 4-5 is a Saturday, Sunday. So, walang ganong values. So, nagsimula siya sa March 6. And then you have 505 observations. So, lahat ng data kasama. Okay? Lahat ng columns. Okay, lastly, before we go, I just want to run this class. So, ito yung gagamitin natin na model. R part class, okay, R partition, this is used for decision tree, okay? So, we are predicting Apple close, and then regress on, gagamitin natin si MA20, si RSI, okay? Sa case nyo, class, gagamit kayo ng iba. No? Ito sample lang to eh. Ito plus, okay, di ba? So, ang ginamit natin, si RSI 14, isang feature natin. Si MA20, si RSI 14, ito yung regressors natin. No? Tapos, ang data natin is equal to trained data. Okay? Trained data, and then we're going to use analysis of variance. All right? So, let's run this class. Let's run this, and then you have here your tree model. Yan. It's a list of 14. All right? So, may explanation ako dito, class, ng tree model natin. So, pakitingnan to, class, no? So, I'll just Ano nangyayari dito? No? What's happening? No? So, I would that you study this. Hindi siya mahirap intindihan class, no? So, nag-i-split lang siya. But I'm going to, ito class, ito yung tingnan natin. Pareho lang yan. Okay? And then ito, yung diagram mismo. Let's take a look at here, class. Here. That one. Asa na? Ito class, ito. Okay? So, do you have this? Yung tree structure natin? If not, I know I gave this to you class, pero if not, ito, pakisama lang siya. Okay? So, we have to load rpart.plot. Tapos, i-plot natin yung tree model natin. Enter. Okay, and this is your decision tree class. Ito yung decision tree natin. Okay, it tells you ano yung percentage na pumunta dito sa yung paano siya ginamit, no? Okay, so next meeting, we're going to take a look at this and we're going to explain ano tong decision tree na to? Ano ibig sabihin yan? Because this is a graphical representation of the decision tree. Kung paano in-split yung data natin. Okay? So with that, I'm sorry to extend